What's going on? Facebook Live, YouTube. What up? Hey, Jay.
Hi, Brian.
You're always so talkative.
What's up, Internet?
Got Nicholas Beltran in the house. What's up, everyone? Hope all is well. Got Facebook user in the house. What up, Facebook user? Like it. Go down in that lower left-hand corner, smash that share button, drop in the comments where you're tuning in from. If you got any questions tonight, drop them in there. Yeah. What do we got coming up this weekend, Jay?
Well, Brian, we've got the Coldwater Channel Lakes.
You sound like the cheesiest newsman ever. It's because we were watching that episode of Kill Tony right before we started. The band was all doing the newsman, crew thing. Yeah. Cheese ball.
We got this gnarly tournament this weekend, bro.
Yeah, it's heating up, man. What do we got? I know we just got another entrant. I think we're like right around 30, something like that.
About 30.
I think it's going to keep building as we draw into tomorrow. I know we've had a few messages and things like that. So to address those real quick, there will be a captain's meeting tomorrow evening. We'll be live right here on the Paddle and Fin Facebook page. If you can't make the captain's meeting in person to get your board checked and pick up your identifiers, we will, in the captain's meeting, announce a couple spots all throughout the chain where we'll have some folks to check your boards and get you some identifiers. So those locations will be released tomorrow at the captain's meeting. So if you're coming into Coldwater, Michigan tomorrow, a little late, no worries. We got you covered. Just make sure you watch the captain's meeting, obviously.
Yeah, and if you do come to the captain's meeting, Gander Outdoors, where we'll be having the meeting at in the back parking lot, has graciously offered a 20% off any fish on all fishing gear.
Yep.
To any of the anglers, just for that night only.
Excluding electronics.
Yes, excluding electronics.
He specifically said excluding electronics. So if you're looking for a new Garmin, sorry, boys and girls, not this time. But I'm sure they have some there, so you could pick one up, just not for 20%.
There you go. Pick one up for me, please, because my boat needs one.
You got a Lawrence on the way, man.
I know, but I don't got one when I'm there. So I'm going to be following you around like usual.
What else is new? I'll show you how to catch the fish, too, and you still won't change your lure.
I'll be fishing for toothy critters this time. Probably the same result, though. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
I don't really like to catch fish.
I'll probably be bass fishing and catch the toothy critters.
Yeah, no kidding.
And you'll be throwing these big honking lures.
This time I'm starting with an ultralight.
Oh, this is gonna get...
I'm gonna throw a 1/8 ounce rooster tail, and here we go.
This will be an interesting weekend. I shout out to all the guys from Michigan that are already signed up. We got a big crew coming from Ohio again, man. The Ohio guys have been showing out for this trail series, which is awesome. Shout out to Michael Grimsley, my brother from another mother.
Call it Grimsley and Co.
Yeah, that's what we should call it. Yeah, because he is the ringleader. But looking forward to seeing everybody this week. I know Susie Roloff, our tournament director, is on her way there right now. She'll be out on the water tomorrow. So we got some exciting stuff, some exciting things to give away at the tournament. And of course, like always, we got the 10 big checks for all our top 10 anglers to take home, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah,
it's going to be fun,
definitely.
So, well, should we get this dude in here?
Well, I just wanted to mention one other thing.
Oh yeah, yes, please do.
So, as we talked about before, Shannon Williams isn't doing so good these days, and she's fighting a fight at the below us right there. Go to that link and sign up for the tournament, even if you're not going to fish. All of it's going to Shannon, so she could really use your help tonight. And well, in the future, we were originally going to have her on tonight actually, but she wasn't feeling too good, so. We got one of our buddies on here in her place, but yeah, definitely go check out the Top Water series for Shannon. Click on there, donate if you're not going to fish. I mean, it's not that much money, but every little bit helps.
I'm dropping it in the comments right now. Shout out to the guys from Top Water, MKT, all that stuff. They kind of put this together. So I know they got like a long list of sponsor prizes that they're giving away to like some of the winners and stuff. Some pretty cool stuff. But yeah, man, the charity events, man, that's always something we like to promote. It's always for good causes, things like that. Jackson Orr has his event every year. This Shannon event came up, and it's definitely something we want to help spread the word on. We were previously team members with her and
yes, sir.
Her fiance over at Jackson Kayaks, and so thoughts and prayers with her. Hope she's doing well, feeling better, and all that good stuff, man. So yeah,
get some rest, Shannon.
Any other announcements?
No,
I forgot.
I think
we're good. You good? Should we get this dude in here? Look at him. He's smiling. He's grinning. He's waiting. He's waiting. He's waiting. Let's do it. Sean Lavery in the house. Woo!
What's up, gents?
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing fine. It's a great day here in PA.
Yeah. You guys warmed up pretty much out there?
No, it's just starting to. It was 70. It was just about 70 today, but the last couple of days have been much colder. It was like 36 this morning or something dumb.
Yeah. You're getting all that crap we had at the beginning of the week. It was like 71 today here, something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it's we're getting there, man. In the north, we're getting there.
We are.
You got any gas in that gas tank of yours up there?
Yeah, no, it hasn't been too bad up here. Our gas hit above $3 a gallon. I'm like, hey, fun times. But no, my truck is full. Yeah.
I know. I remember driving the city with my kid, and he's like, is gas really $4 a gallon here? I'm like, yep.
Yeah.
No, I remember I bought a Dodge Ram, like a big 8-cylinder Hemi beast of a thing, and then gas hit like $4 a gallon, and I was putting like $80 in every 4 days. I'm like, that probably has to change.
Oh, dude, yeah, that'll ruin your budget. Like $4 will ruin your budget.
I filled up the Suburban the other day, and it was pretty low. I think it was $95.
Oh, I believe it, dude.
And then the Toyota, I think it was 75, something like that. So,
ouch.
But Becky Minch is in the comments. She says we need to get some Cody Jennings at Jig Masters.
Yeah,
I think he was just on the Noobs show, wasn't he?
Yep, not too long ago. Yep.
And then I think he did one.
He just did tackle. He just did. What is that other show? Tackle Talk. I heard him on.
Oh, he was on with Andrew over there.
Yep.
Nice, dude. Nice.
Yeah,
I like it.
I would imagine he's still really busy.
Oh yeah, Cody's always busy. I hope he's doing well too, man. I haven't talked to him recently. I know he was having some illness stuff when we were all at Dale Hollow, So Shout out to Cody at Jigmasters. Go to jigmasters.com.
Cody does good things.
Yeah, he does, man. Those new finesse jigs are pretty sweet too. Super sexy. I haven't got any yet, but I've seen pictures.
I have two.
You got two?
Yep.
Have you been throwing them at all, or
No, I haven't thrown them yet. But
what's wrong with you, man? What's wrong with you?
I'm still learning.
Dude, what?
I'm not the jig master, obviously. So
come on.
Oh man, all you gotta do is drag it on the ground.
Well, before we get too deep into the fishing talk, for some of the listeners that may not know who you are, and if you guys don't know who you are, you need to be listening to the Bass Fishing for Noobs segment on Mondays. But you came into the paddle and fin family like what? It's been over a year now, right?
Yep, I think it was February of last year. So
right on. So obviously you're from PA. How'd you get into kayak fishing and all that good stuff, man?
So that's kind of an interesting story. I was into a lot of sports growing up. I played a lot of volleyball, baseball, and I fished just occasionally, went trout fishing, occasionally went bass fishing with my father-in-law, but nothing crazy. Never really had a lot of luck, so I never did it a whole lot. And when I was 39, kind of out of the blue, I had a heart attack, which just kind of shocked me. I was training for a half marathon, and I thought I was in the best shape of my life. And then one day I went to work and started having chest pains. I drove to patient first, and I was like, yeah, I'm having some pretty bad chest pains. And they did an EKG and said, no, you're not having chest pains. You're having a heart attack. You're going to the hospital. And then
they're like, no, it's not that. It's something else.
Yeah. Well, I totally didn't think it was that. My wife always gives me crap because I backed into my space at the doctor's office. She's like, only you would take the time to back into a space when you're having a heart attack. But an hour later, I was at the hospital getting 2 stents put in my heart. And, then I had some time to recover where I wasn't allowed to do a lot of strenuous activity. And I'd been kind of checking out kayaks at the time because I was kind of, it had piqued my interest, but I had never really put a lot of thought into it. And my doctor actually suggested, something a little less strenuous than running and, a high intensity sport like volleyball. And I was like, well, what about kayaking and kayak fishing? And he's like, that sounds like something that would be good as long as you take it slow. And so my wife was happy to still have me around. So I kind of, had a Christmas list of stuff that she's like, well, you know what, I'm happy you're here. Go get something you like. So I bought a Wilderness Systems Tarpon 120.
Nice.
That was my first kayak, and fished out of it for maybe 6-7 months. It wasn't as stable as I was hoping, and going out on the river, the Susquehanna, which just happens to be 15 minutes away from me, so I'm super lucky about that. I took it out and fell in love with the sport. Didn't have a ton of luck at first. Because I really never had anybody teach me. And I mean, I watched as much YouTube as any one person can watch and tried to apply it, but it was all learning what worked in my area and what didn't. Then I have a local paddle shop here right close to me called Shanks Mare. They were a Jackson dealer at the time, and I jumped from a Tarpon to a Coosa HD. That thing was crazy stable and perfect for the river. So I fished that for 1.5 years before I jumped into my Hobie Outback, which is what I'm currently paddling. So, the whole time I've just been learning and, getting on the new show is amazing. It's the amount of information I've heard and applied is, I credit that for, where I am today. I wouldn't be nearly as successful as I am today, but yet on the other hand, I'm still absolutely a noob. I still make stupid mistakes. And just on 2 Saturdays ago, I was fishing a Kayak Anglers of Central PA event, and my very first fish, I caught like a nice, probably 17, 18-inch fish, and I netted it, pulled it out of the net, and was holding it in my hand, and I started washing up against the rocks along the shore. And before I even I reached around to get my measuring board, and he shook and I dropped him. I never should have taken him out of the net till I had my board ready. And I ended up losing that tournament by 1 inch. So I still
the one that got away.
I still hope that wasn't it, but I had my smallest fish was like a 16-inch, and so I think it might have culled it, but I'll never know because I never got it on the board to check. So still make plenty of new mistakes. I still have times where I struggle. One of my goals for this year was to try and catch one fish at least every month. So I fished in the dead of winter. And I didn't catch my first fish until the end of March. So
Jesus,
that was a lot of time.
Tough, man.
That was a lot of time. I wish I could say I only went out a few times, but I didn't. I was out like
all the time,
hours upon hours. And
you know what you should have thrown?
What's that?
A jig.
Like I said, still learning. I was throwing spoons, and I even tried chicken livers for stripers in my local lakes, and that was just more nasty than anything. I got my gloves covered in chicken liver, and then I'm like, that smell's never coming out.
Dude, I remember being with my dad in the middle of a lake using those things, and then all of a sudden the bees come. It's like the bees find you, and you're all sticky, and you're like, hey, you want a sandwich? Oh, that'd be great, Dad. What's Purell?
Oh man.
Oh, dude, I was a general laborer for a construction company for years, and you ate lunch. Whatever was on your hands is on your hands, man. There's no running water, so I'm like, it didn't kill me yet. So
what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
That's right.
I like it. Well, let's go back a sec, man, because you said that basically talking about you got on bass fishing for noobs, and that's totally helped you a bunch. And I know we've seen it with your co-host, Mr. Milfy Pants. I was trying to think of a name to call him and be nice, so that was the clean version, Milfy Pants.
Oh my god,
Wilfred, I apologize now for everything that's going to come after this.
No, it's all good. It's all good. But when he got on, right, like I've talked about this before on numerous podcasts, like, he could name every fish he caught in a 5-year period, and now he can't remember how many fish he caught, in the last month. And I've seen the same thing transpire with you as well. Like you guys, what you do, Bass Fishing for Noobs segment. Obviously, you guys are talking technique specific with your guest, and it's more of a learning podcast compared to like our show, which is like getting to know folks or companies and things like that. And I've seen it with you, and now you guys actually have a running tally, like who's going to catch more fish this year and this and that. But that I'm sure that's been quite a cool adventure, right? Like, so I mean, how has that like definitely helped your fishing? Like, obviously you're talking to a lot of guests, getting a lot of information. Are you just going out and applying it, trying a bunch of different things, or like, how do you think that's helped you become a better angler?
Well, I mean, first, right off the bat, it's something that I craved, when I first started fishing but I never had the, the guts to go up to someone and say, hey, can you show me how you're doing that? Or I always thought, that's going to be the bad guy. I'm going to be the bad guy. I'm like, I'm not looking to steal spots. I just want to see techniques. I want to see, how you're doing what you're doing. Not to carbon copy you or steal your holes or anything like that. I just want to learn. But I never, I'm not the most outgoing person, when I'm in a public situation like that. So I never did well with that. I never know who to ask or when to ask or what was the best way to ask. So, getting on the Noob show is kind of like a blessing in that way. And just that it kind of forced my hand, to talk to people and kind of open up a little bit, but also it gave me exactly what I was looking for. I wanted to be able to ask those specific questions. Okay. And not just watch you do something. If I can ask you specifically, oh, well, how are you working that? Or what speed do you do? Do you speed up, slow down? When you talk about dragging, what are you talking about? What should it feel like? Those kind of questions that, you feel like dumb asking a professional or someone much better than you about it. But until you ask, you never know. And I'm a big believer in there's no such thing as a stupid question, because at one point in time, I didn't know the answer. and somebody took the time to tell me. So, I never, get on anybody for asking any questions, because that's how you learn. So
Absolutely, man.
And so just being on the Noob Show, that part has totally helped me, but it's also helped me to kind of network, both through my local area. I'm a lot heavily involved with Kayak Anglers Central PA now. There's a bunch of great guys there that have kind of taken me under their wing at times and said, "Hey, you want to come fish with me?" And that's exactly what I was hoping for.
That's cool.
I feel like that's where I've learned the absolute most, and just going out with people and seeing what works for them, what they do differently than what I was doing, and being involved in Heroes on the Water even. That's just the contacts I've made through this show have been super amazing. And talking to sticks like Jody Queen and all these YouTubers that and being able to actually ask them questions instead of just watching their YouTube and being like, "Oh, I wish he would have answered that question."
Yeah, right.
So,
well, I think that's what makes your guys' like segment super unique, right? Is because for somebody like myself who's been fishing so long, like those little detailed questions, like I would skip over, or those answers, like I would, like if I was answering a question, I would totally skip over that little detailed thing, like this is what it should feel like on the bottom, or this and that. And you guys really dive into that, and I think that's why your guys' segment has become so popular. It really helps a lot of folks like break things down, because they're getting it from kind of a quote unquote, no offense, beginner's perspective. You know what I mean? Which is super cool.
Definitely. I mean, people sometimes take for granted, if they've been fishing since they were, old enough to barely remember, they've been fishing their whole life. So they just either have been taught or have figured it out over the years. I still, to this day, wish I would have started much, much earlier, because I'm wondering where I'd be. It was dumb because I lived a quarter mile from the river for the better part of my life growing up, and I never went out, I never fished. So if I had started back then, now, who knows where I would be now. I could be Jody Queen. Maybe not.
So I found the count here for between you and Ryan. I just want to make sure these numbers are correct. Ryan -8, Sean 110,000. Is that correct?
That looks about right. Yeah.
Right. All right, cool.
That's
cool.
a
Ryan's due though. He's due,
Yeah, he's due for another -25. Just saying.
It's like, how do you count those?
Yeah.
Like, how do you count negatives?
Because it's under 12 inches, so it's actually minus. Ryan's really good at catching 8-inch bass.
Yeah.
So that actually counts as a -1.
It's a good thing I don't tell him about my little ones then, because I just walked down to the creek tonight walking the dog and caught some creek chubs and some pumpkin seeds and stuff. But
don't give him the juice. But in actuality, it's this is showing 11-8. Is that correct?
No, I have 22 right now. So I think Ryan's probably up near 18, if I remember correctly.
Well, I'm going to adjust yours to 22. And
I know mine's 22.
There we go.
So
looks better.
Sean's beating some butt right now. I like it. I like it. So that's cool. You guys are keeping track of that. That's you guys got a wager on this? Like the other guys buying somebody a spool line or a lure or something?
I'm trying to think what we said in the beginning. I don't even remember at this point. So we did have something riding on it, but I can't remember what.
Well, I believe I said I had my money on you, and I think because you're gonna win, I believe your wager was $1,000. I'm just saying.
Woo! Yeah.
So,
hey Sean.
Hey Sean.
I'm down.
Hey Sean.
I'm gonna PayPal you my $1,000.
I'm not going to talk big yet because I think he's going to fish a lot longer than I am. He's going to have good weather a lot longer than I am. So
that's true.
I might be able to.
Yeah.
I got to get my lead while I can, and then hope that I can outlast him. So we'll see.
Get him. Well, what's also cool too, and you know, you and Ryan have had a big part in it as we run the Paddle and Fin monthly Noobs Tournament as well. And you fish that quite a bit, and Ryan's really slacking this year. I don't want to hear any excuses out of him, but you know, that's pretty cool too. Like it's a beginner based tournament, and you know, I think everybody that fishes it like really has a good time, and you know, gets to learn a lot of things. And we've seen a lot of folks come into that, and now they're fishing, you know, club events, and a couple guys have actually gone and fished some like national events and stuff like that. So I mean, what's your take on that, man? And shout out to Casey in the house. What up, brother?
Yeah, I mean, I love the Noobs Tournament and the group that we have. You know, there's a Facebook group for it, and it's just a cool group of men and women, you know, anglers that you know, share stories, congrats to each other when you know, we break PBs and stuff like that. It's just a cool community that has kind of, you know, built up, and it's awesome to see it grow. It's awesome to see those guys, you know, who win maybe a monthly tournament on the Noobs Tournament, and then, you know, kind of graduate into bigger things. Definitely seen some names kind of move up through, and you know, it's cool to see them improve. And for me, the main thing about fishing it is that it entices me to get out on the water, because I don't want to see my name at the bottom of that list. So that makes me on a Wednesday night be like, you know what, I got some time to kill. I'm going to go, you know, see if I can add a few more fish to my my bag there. So that's the main reason why I keep doing it. Besides just to kind of keep up with the guys and, you know, give a little
I hate to tell you this, bro, but you're kind of at the bottom of the list right now.
Yeah, well, and again, another noob mistake. I caught 3 fish the very first day that we were allowed to, and forgot to put my identifier on my board until the 3rd fish. So I have 2 other fish that I couldn't count. Plus,
what a noob.
The very first, I didn't count any of my my fish from the tournament that I did. The very you know, May 1st. I don't know when we started counting, but yeah, they catch some tanks.
Joel Clark from Tennessee, currently in the lead. He's got a 20 and a quarter on the board right there.
Yeah.
So who's the gentleman from Massachusetts? Bill Galakis. Dude, he was slamming them.
Yep.
He's not on this month. I think he won last month, but man, I watched a couple of his YouTube videos, and he's having himself a good time up there.
I'm telling you guys right now, Regina Jones, my money's on her. She's always my favorite.
That's what I mean. I love to see all the different names too, and you know, if I see a big fish, I'll, you know, I like to call them out and be like, "Hey, congrats, that was awesome!" You know.
Yeah, man. There's been, it's kind of cool to see that, right? Because like we experienced that in Dale Hollow. The one dude caught his PB largemouth. What was that? 20 and a half or 21 and a half. And he won a big bass check, you know, like it's always cool to see guys and gals catching like their PBs, like in an event. Actually,
that was Chris Anderson, right?
No, that was Drew Neer.
Drew Neer, okay.
From Ohio.
Okay.
Another Ohio guy.
Yeah. I remember the painted toenails.
No, that's Chris Anderson.
That's Chris Anderson. Okay.
He did win a big bass.
Oh, he did. Okay. I'm getting mixed up.
That wasn't the new PB.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I was getting mixed up.
Chris Anderson's actually coming to the event this weekend, and he tagged me in a post online. And his ritual is his daughter paints his toenails before every tournament. So the post was a picture of his freshly painted toenails, and he was like, "Do you think this is going to work for me?"
Yeah, he rocks them, man.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, so that's his little thing. It's funny, like everybody's got their little shticks or like rituals, you know, like you know, I fished on the road a while with Alan Reed, and his thing is after he gets his limit, he eats a package of the little chocolate covered mini donuts. So he's always got them in his crate, but he can't eat them until he catches his limit. So if you see him back at check-in or at the ramp before check-in and he's still got his donuts, you know he didn't have a great day on the water.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, my thing is I got to have coffee before I hit the water. If I don't drink coffee before I hit the water, I have a bad tournament. It's a given, dude. Given.
I don't know if I have one. I just always feel like I'm rushed, and then it's like, oh, I forgot that in the truck.
Yeah, there's that too.
That's kind of the ritual, I think. It's always something. It's usually the sunglasses. That's the big one.
I've done that before. That sucks. You got any rituals, Sean? Like before you hit the water, like when you're fishing an event or something like that?
I don't really have any rituals. I do have some good luck things I do.
Let's hear this.
The very first thing is, and I have no clue where it came into my mind or what made a difference, but on my Outback, you know that you have the pull tabs to put you do forward and reverse.
Yeah.
Well, there's a little bungee that you can hook them under, and if I don't hook them under, if I forget to hook them under, I feel like I have a bad day, and I don't know what it is. And so that is the very first thing I do when I get once I get my drive in is I tuck those up out under the bungee, because for the longest time I didn't even realize what that bungee was for. I'm like, man, these things are annoying. They're always slapping me in the back of the legs and stuff. But and for whatever reason now, like just the other day I went out and I'm like, I got back in, I'm maybe caught one fish that day, and I was like, I had the stupid things out of the bungee. I should have, so I always try and check that as soon as I get in. And another thing that I started doing after talking to Jackson Orr is writing a Bible verse on my hand.
That's cool. Right on.
It helps keep me grounded, and it helps me to remember not to get wigged out. To just go with the flow and remember where all my priorities should be lying. So
heck yeah, man.
Shout out to Jackson for that, because that was something that was very beneficial for me when. Because there was times where I would just have I felt like things would just pile up, and as soon as I would get upset about something or I get frustrated, then more things would happen. I'd, get a huge wind knot and then just get even more frustrated at having to sit there for 5 minutes and get that knot out. So if I can keep my head about me, and that definitely helps me, it's just a reminder there every time I look down at my hand to, keep things in perspective. So.
I like it.
I don't know if that would work for me. I just get angry, man. I just can't do it.
Oh, I still get angry at times. But
Casey Starnes in the chat says he smokes a cigar and first thing. I like it.
I love the
big
smell
old
of cigar.
stoke first thing in the morning.
Reminds me
if I could do the stoke. It'd be a little rough on the lungs for a second.
It probably would. Well, he's not inhaling it though.
Yeah, that's true too.
It's a cigar.
That's true.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to try that. I think that I don't think I've ever really smoked a cigar while I was out kayak fishing.
It's wonderful.
We need to
it's angelic.
Oh, that's right. You always have the little backwoods.
The backwoods.
Yeah.
Everybody loves the backwoods, man.
Casey says, "Man up, boys."
Yeah, I know. Right?
I like it.
I like to have my cappuccinos.
I like to have a latte before I even push offshore.
Yeah,
that's going to make my mochaccino taste all terrible.
Yeah.
Chop, bro. Chop. I love it. We're getting some cigars this weekend.
Hey,
I'd probably hack up a lung for an hour if I tried to smoke one before I went out in the water.
Well, you don't want to be inhaling these things.
No, I know.
It's a cigar, bro.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt.
Again, I'm a noob with cigars too, so
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's a perfect segue.
Yeah.
So out of all the information you've learned, what has become your top 3 baits that you're using currently?
Wacky rig is still number 1.
See, wait a minute. Jay just came through with a banger question. This is one for the ages, boys and girls. Normally, Jay.
I'm gonna go sit off camera. I'm just gonna push buttons.
Brian, you better watch out, man. He's gonna be taking over.
Sorry.
He's coming out of his shell.
I don't know. The boss. See, you guys think I'm in this shell.
Jay's back in action, dude. I like it.
We got a rep to upkeep here.
All right, so back to the question. Top 3 baits from Jay Randall.
All right, so number 1 has to be a wacky rig, weighted specifically. I actually throw a little weighted jig head wacky rig. So occasionally, occasionally I'll throw weightless, but most of the time, and I just had to do at first with just being impatient for it to sink. But I feel like I have a better feel for it at the end of my line. I can kind of feel, bites better. I feel like, and I can feel when I hit bottom and when I when I pick it up, so that's definitely number one.
Well, let me stop right there. How are you rigging that wacky rig?
Right through the middle, no O-rings, or I just and I use Yumdingers.
So you just go right through the plastic worm, just hook right through it.
I bend it in the middle, find the halfway point, and go through the middle. I do have an O-ring tool and that kind of stuff, but I never really got into using them. Because Yumdingers are super cheap. And I can get like a 30-pack at Dick's for $8 or $11 or whatever it is, and so. But occasionally I do a weightless one, and occasionally if I'm in a really kind of wooded or heavily structured area, I'll put the O-ring on just because I feel like I lose a little bit more that way. But for the most part, that's it. Also that's all on spinning gear, braid to leader, 12-pound braid to 10-pound leader, fluorocarbon, and that's pretty much my go-to. Once the weather warms up, for whatever reason on my lakes here, when it's cold, that it doesn't seem to work as well. I think mainly because they're not where I throw. They're not up against the bank. Usually I beat the bank with those. And for whatever reason on the Susquehanna, I don't have as much luck with that either. But
yeah, I think a lot of the guys in the colder weather will let them I'll say something different too, but they either use wacky or Texas and like weightless, and they'll just let it flutter, down about 5 to 10 feet. If there's, there's current, obviously it's a little different, but they'll just try to come out of the weeds.
Yep.
That never works for me because I don't have patience at all for that. So, but I know people who've done pretty good. When they tell you it, you're like, oh my God, I could have just done that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Some people, when I'm at the lake, if I see, I usually like to ask people when I pass them, hey, how you doing? And if someone says they're really struggling, I'll throw them one and just show them what I'm doing, because it's worked for me, and I've had quite a few people tell me, hey, yeah, you're right, that works pretty good. So, again, that's definitely on the lakes. That's my go-to. But. When I go on the river, it's kind of dumb, but my number one bait on the river is a rooster tail. And you joked about that, but
that's Jay's go-to, man.
I don't ever joke about rooster tails.
Yeah,
I slay them. I know.
I slay them, and it's the easiest thing to do. And for whatever reason, from right now until September, it works. And I've mangled some poor little, some of those rooster tails. They get slammed and bent all to heck. I bend them back until they don't spin anymore. But that, and it was dumb. On the river, I was throwing all sorts of stuff, chatterbaits and swim baits and stuff, and I still throw those occasionally. But I wasn't having a lot of luck, and I ran into a guy, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I just caught 12," and I'm like, "What the heck did you catch him on?" He's like, "I caught him on rooster tail." And after that, I started throwing a rooster tail, and the rest was history. I catch catfish. That's the cool thing about the river, is there's so much more, things that you can catch. Walleye, you name it, I've caught it on a rooster tail. It's kind of crazy.
Black and silver.
Actually, chartreuse and with a bronze blade is what works best for me.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys are having a moment.
I am. Are you throwing on light gear? Like you throwing on like a light moderate, or you throwing on ultralight?
No, not ultralight. Usually medium light, super fast tip.
Nice.
Okay.
And depending on the level of the river, I kind of got to keep it moving because it will snag up pretty easy. But that's on the river. That's kind of my go-to. So I have the wacky rig, the rooster tail, and I guess I'm trying to think of what my third one would be, because I haven't mastered anything else. It's starting to be crankbaits. I've started to do pretty well with crankbaits on the river and actually in the lake. But there's so many other things I want to learn. Just the other, I probably caught 3 fish total on a jackhammer before that tournament that I just did, and I caught all of my fish on a jackhammer. I think I caught 9 fish in that tournament, and all of them were on a jackhammer. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is fun. But it was a Project Z. It wasn't a jackhammer. It was a Project Z.
That's right. Yeah.
And I don't know what made that different, because I'd thrown a jackhammer a million times before, lost more than I care to say, but the Project Z was like where it was at that particular place. It was, they were chomping it like crazy. So
it's funny how like you can go back and forth between the two and one will do better than the other. And a lot of times it depends on like the body of water, you know?
Yeah.
Real quick, Casey Starnes, message the Paddle and Fin page with your address. We'll get you some decals, bro. Boom. Yeah, it's interesting because I've heard that same thing where like, you know, guys were out on a lake and they were cranking the same color jackhammer, and as another guy who was throwing the Project Z, and the Project Z caught him 6-1. You know,
right. I think they might see the jackhammer so much. What's up, Richie?
Richie in the house. What's up, brother?
Swim bait.
Yeah. Richie's like the king of like throwing shark baits for
oh my gosh.
bass.
I know.
He handed me a box one time and he was like, yeah, that's like $2,000 worth of swim baits. And I was like, yeah, you can take this back. I don't want to drop this.
Yeah.
Like, this is all you, bro.
Richie and I had an amazing conversation about that.
Good dude, man. Yeah, go check out the Bass Fishing for Noobs segment with Richie talking about swim bait fishing. If that's something you guys want to get into, like anybody asks me about throwing big swim baits, I always refer them to Richie. I'm like, just go talk to this dude. I don't know nothing.
Swing for the fences, man. Swing for the fences.
Bring a cup of coffee though, because it took us a while.
Well, he said he's ready for swim bait for Noobs Part 2, man. So
yeah, no, I'm down for that. So
there you go. Boom. Boom. I like it, man. I like it.
But I mean, there's so many things that I've caught just a few fish on, you know, I'm still that new that, you know, I've caught 2-3 fish on a spinnerbait. I've caught 2 or 3 fish on a tube, you know, so there's still, but I'm just still learning those. And what I have to do is, you know, put down the things that I love and I know work long enough to try those things. And I think I will get better, but that's the thing. I also don't want to get skunked. So I have a hard time putting down things I think and I'm comfortable with to try those things. But, you know, I'm trying to broaden my horizons. I did, you know, start throwing the tube more and started having luck finally with that. You know, I think some of that I credit to having, you know, upping my rods a little bit and actually having a rod that's sensitive enough now to be able to feel what I'm bumping against down there. And, you know, but part of it is also just learning, you know, a little bit better how to work it, where to throw it, that kind of thing. So,
and I'm really surprised. I'm surprised you didn't say like Ned rig.
I don't have a lot of luck with Ned rig, and I don't know what that is, what that has to do. That's speaking of Milford, that's Milford's new go-to. He's I think he's caught most of his fish this year on a Ned rig.
That's because Ned rigs like basically catch the fish for you, and that's all you can get away with. You know what I mean?
I went to a little pond. We went down to Deep Creek Lake in Maryland and stayed there last year, and didn't catch much on the lake, which is like this world-class smallie. It's like known for the biggest smallmouth or something crazy like that, or the biggest freshwater fish. That's what it was. And, you know, I caught maybe 3 fish or 3 bass out of that lake, but there was a cool little pond near the place that we stayed. And I went down there with a Ned rig and friggin' slayed the little tiny 8-inch bass for, oh man, that was probably the most fun time I ever had with the Ned rig. But for some reason, I don't know. I just, I know I've talked to so many people who are super good with it. Online outdoorsman. He's a Ned rig champion, you know. Mike McKinstry, I mean, he'll sing the praises of Ned rig. So, you know, just 2 off the top of my head, and I should be better at it. But again, I just don't have a feel for it yet. One of the things is I can't get through my mind that it's okay not to feel it right away. Like I like to be able to feel what my bait is doing. And especially in the river with current, I feel like I have no clue what that Ned rig's doing. I'm like, it's down there somewhere, you know. Is it on the bottom? Is it not?
Lighter, more sensitive rod.
And you just got to figure out like the proper weight to be throwing around in that current so you can feel stuff.
Yeah, I recommend the Douglas 610 XF spinning rod. That's my go-to Ned rig rod, but I can feel like every little pebble on the bottom. But the key is doing like a 6 or an 8 pound test.
Yeah.
Yep.
If after that Douglas episode on Brad's show, I was like, oh man. I started looking through those and I was like, okay, maybe next year as I continue to up my selection. But first of all, I gotta fill out my rods right now. I still don't have anything heavy. I don't have a frogging rod. My biggest one is a medium heavy, which would work, but I want to, that's probably my next rod in my arsenal is to get. I finally got a crankbait rod, which made a huge difference when I use crankbaits. And that's actually what I was throwing the Project Z on too. So
I know a guy. Just
what kind of rods are you usually buying?
Well, I started buying a lot of St. Croix. That's kind of what I've upgraded to. And I really like the Bass Mojo Bass ones, or Yak Mojo ones, the ones with the shorter butt.
Oh yeah.
I've kind of I have 2 of those now, and I have one of the Bass Mojos, and I kind of credit those as being the ones that I first kind of learned the sensitivity on, feeling what a good rod feels like. And I know even the Mojo Bass, and they're kind of still kind of mid-tier for them. There's much higher quality ones from St. Croix too, but just the difference going to what I was throwing to those was kind of night and day for me. So
yeah, I think if you want to like up the ante on your, I guess, feeling the, every rock on the bottom is maybe looking at tungsten.
Yeah.
Tungsten transmits a lot better than lead does.
Does it?
Yeah,
it does.
I've heard that.
It does. I know a guy too.
Oh, cool. Casey's in the chat. He's asking, when are y'all coming to the Chick or Watts bar? There's nothing planned for that yet, but there may be something in the works for Gunnersville soon, which is close. Stay tuned.
The juice is coming. I want to know when you guys are doing the Northeast trail.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know yet.
I can't answer that question.
I'll be patient.
I'll be running that.
Stay tuned. Yeah. Reach out to tournament director Sean Lavery for that.
Yeah, there you go.
That trail coming to the Northeast real soon.
I know a few people.
Yeah. You know a guy?
Not many. I know a few.
Yeah. Nice. I like it, man. What else you got coming up for the rest of the year, man? Any big plans, big trips, things like that? What's the ultimate goal for the year? Actually, we already know what that is. That's
some
just
snakeheads, maybe.
That's just making Ryan Milford look like a chimp. Just saying.
I gotta lay the hammer on him, man, so he doesn't catch me. Yeah. But we'll see how that goes.
Hammer. It's gonna be like dropping a full ton pickup truck on his head. Like it.
So the biggest thing that I'm still tossing around is possibly fishing the Hobie Susquehanna event when it comes.
That's what I'm talking about, Sean Lavery.
There were so many big names there last year, and I was like, I'm just gonna go just so I can meet people, because Jody Queen was there, all these crazy names were there, and I was like, it's so close. It's kind of dumb not to. But then I was like, but I'm still, Mr. Noob. Maybe that's not the best idea.
Nobody cares.
No. I think so. I think that's number one on my list that I'm going to try to do. I'm going to, save up some cash and go, meet and greet with all the crazy big names that I get to talk to. But never get.
Are you going to fish the event?
I think I'm thinking about trying it because you never know. Any given day,
what's the entry fee?
I want to say it's like $200.
Whoa,
that's it?
Is that right?
I go, whoa. He's like, that's it.
All right, I got 100 if you're gonna fish it. I'll PayPal you that stuff.
Do you get a percentage of the wins?
No, dude. He's a paddle and fin host. He freaking wins.
Well, I thought you were sponsoring.
That's good for us, right? Yeah, I'll be his first sponsor.
Well, I guess you know what you're doing now, Sean.
There you go. You're fishing the event, bro.
You're going.
I'm for real, dude. I'll put 100 on it. Then you could really shove it in Milford's face. Then you'd be like, look, bro, I'm the host. You're my co-host. That's what you could tell Milford. I want a Hobie event, bro. What have you done? You know what I mean? Take the back seat, Milford.
Kate Field kind of, when we did the episode with her, and she was kind of really talking about, seizing the moment. And hey, I don't care if you're uncomfortable doing it, get out there and do it, and
I want to say, that was, she had some really powerful words of encouragement in that episode that I know hit home with me. When she was talking about a lot of different things, like especially tournament fishing. But I agree with her 100%, man. You just got to get out there and do it, I mean, my first year tournament fishing, I dove in head first, just running the Midwest KBF trail. That was the first year of the Pro Tour, and I was like, well, whatever. If I'm going to do this, I might as well do it, Jumped into that crap and all that stuff, man. I mean, just go for it. Just go for it, And look, you're fishing your club more, right? Like this is your second year with them?
Yep. Well, I it's actually my third, but I never fished any events the first year.
That's right.
I felt totally out of place and didn't know where to start. So
I paid the entry. Now you're cashing checks.
It's like the new guy when you show up and you're like, well, there's a group over there and there's a group over there. And does anybody want to talk to me? I feel so out of place.
Yeah.
Seriously, that's how it was. Like I would purposely, if I got to a ramp and it was crazy full, I would be like, I'm gonna go find a less crowded ramp because I just don't want to look like that guy, And I still, oh man, there's a place on the Susquehanna right by us that they host a lot of weddings, So they're always having weddings right by, and there's a ramp right there. So I had borrowed a friend's. I actually ended up buying it. It was a sit-in kayak, a loon. Who makes the loon?
Old Town Loon.
Old Town, yeah. And I had bought it off a guy I work with, and ended up trading it when I got the Hobie. But the very first time I was paddling it, I went out right by that ramp where they're, and I was like, oh, it looks like they're going to have a wedding. They had chairs set up and everything. So when I came back to the ramp, they had cop cars there blocking off the ramp. And I'm like, oh, crap. And then I saw that there was tons of people up there. So I'm like, oh, I'm just going to get out real quiet. Of course, my foot caught the lip. I wiped out, huge splash, looked up. Everybody in the wedding is there looking at me. And I'm like, it was horrible.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Yes. I'll be here all week. Be sure and tip your waitress. I
know all about that, buddy.
For every smooth time I get off my kayak, it couldn't be that one.
Jay knows all about that. I totally forgot about that.
It's all right. It happens.
It does.
Sometimes that ledge off the side of the off the ramp is a lot deeper than you thought it was.
There was a line of like 3 or 4 trucks like waiting to launch boats. And Jay like goes a step back and like stepped off the edge of the ramp and just like the look of like, oh shit, this is happening on his face as he like falls face first in the river.
Yeah, I did.
And he just kind of sat there and he was like, well, that just happened.
Yeah. I was like, I couldn't even believe I was like, my face just got wet. Like, how did this even happen? Like, I'm like 3 feet of water. No, actually, it was
exactly how I killed my first iPhone. Same exact thing. I was on the ramp, pulling in my father-in-law's bass boat, like hooking the chain up to the trailer, and took one step off or to my right, thought I was still on the ramp, and whoop, down I went. Yeah. So
actually, I did mention that too. I was like, good thing my phone's in a case.
Yeah.
Life-proof cases. Buy them.
I remember that.
I 100% agree. They have saved my butt so many times. Unfortunately, that was my learning lesson because I didn't have one on that phone, but.
Right on.
Yep. It happens.
Right on.
You want one more good noob story from yesterday?
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right. So I was out on Lake Redmond, my local lake, and fishing my wacky rig, and hadn't caught anything for the first hour. So I'm like, just kind of goofing around. I'm like, oh, man, I gotta pee. And I carry a little travel urinal in my kayak with me so that I'm not the guy standing up and falling off my kayak when I'm trying to pee over the side.
I just stand up and go.
I know,
man.
like, it's
don't
funny.
care.
You'll be talking to Brian and be like, "Oh, he's doing that." Okay, like no warning, he just starts going. You're like, "Oh,
Oh yeah," you just look over and you're like, "Oh, okay."
yeah." You're like, "Oh, that's
Most
not
of the
a
time
lure."
they realize it when they hear the water hitting the water. You know what I mean?
No, hunting's even better, but that's a whole nother story.
So anyway, I feel nature's call, and I'm like, you know what? I haven't caught anything. I'm just gonna chuck my wacky rig over here and just let it hang out for a little bit while I take care of business. So I cast, and I start reach around, get my thing, start doing my thing, and there goes my line. So with one hand, I reach over and grab the rod, set the hook. In the meantime, I kind of miss the bottle, and I am covering the front part of my kayak, but I landed that dang fish. I landed that fish. I had to take my little thing, dump it out, take some water, and hose off the front of my kayak and
So
my
much
fish
to work with
finder.
here.
I know.
Like,
I know. Sean's fishing with two rods at once.
It's the old two worm method.
Two worm method. I just set my worm out there and I was dangling him, man. And then all of a sudden it bit.
Everything he said, the door was just wide open.
I know.
Like, oh my God, do you
trust me? The gears were turning.
Rated G.
Yeah, this is an after hours. We haven't had an after hours for a while, man.
Yeah, we got to get that going again, man.
So I landed the fish, took the picture so I could show it to Milford and count that, and then cleaned up my kayak and then looked around to make sure nobody saw.
But is that legal? Because you didn't have two worms on the same line, right?
No.
No,
just one in each hand.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Wait. See, I mean, we could do this.
All right, We're done.
I'm not as good as making Randall blush as Mike McKinstry is, though. I gotta up my game.
Yeah. You gotta work on that goatee, man. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But if Jay ever comes out to PA and you got missing boxer shorts, just call McKinstry. He'll tell you where they went.
Yeah, I'm a boxer stealer and stuff. So that's happening, I guess.
You do you, bro.
You, bro.
It's like I may not even fit into him, but I got him.
That's funny. Well, Sean, my man, we appreciate you taking the time out this evening to sit down, chat with us, and join us on the OG show.
Absolutely.
Let the good folks know where they can go and follow you and all that good stuff, man.
Well, I mean, absolutely. If you're interested, check us out on Monday nights on the Pal and Fin Noob Show. We'll definitely love to have anybody who's willing to give us a shot and check us out, learn something good, hear some funny stories, hear Milford and I bust on each other. But other than that, I'm on Instagram and Facebook just under Sean Lavery. Nothing crazy yet. I don't have any sponsors or anything yet, but we'll see where it goes. Last December, I never would have thought I'd be doing a weekly podcast, and here I am. So who knows where I'll be next April? Crazier things can happen. So
heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. You need to change that IG handle to like two worms or something. Two worms, one fish.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Like our Dosenko.
Yeah. I like it. All right, boys and girls, for all you guys that are tuned in today, or if you're listening on the podcast and you're planning on coming out to the Coldwater Chain, go to Tourney X, get signed up. Registration closes Friday evening at midnight. The captain's meeting will be live streamed right here on the Paddle and Fin Facebook page, as always. And then tune in Saturday. We'll have live on the water coverage, angler interviews, all that good stuff, running all day long during the tournament. And then obviously the awards on Saturday afternoon, 4 p.m. I believe it is.
That's correct.
Yeah, 4 p.m.
Sounds about right.
Sweet. All right, boys and girls. Until next time. Tight lines. Smooth paddling. I'm looking for the closer. Peace.
Thanks for tuning in to another killer episode on Paddle and Fin. Don't forget to go check out our website at paddle_and_fin.com. Don't forget to check out the YouTube channel at Paddle and Fin. If you got a question, comment, want to hear from a future guest on a future episode, feel free to email us at paddle_and_fin@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Paddle and Fin on Facebook and Instagram. Shout out to our show supporters, Angler. The Angler button and app just makes for a better time on the water and creates a virtual logbook for every fishing outing out on the water. Shout out to Rocktown Adventures, located in Northern Illinois, for all your kayaking, camping, and hiking needs. Shout out to Jigmasters Jigs. When in doubt, get the jig out. Go to jigmasters.com